everything changes when the Fire Nation attacks, but everything progresses when you look at their society. Welcome to Geek Speak, and today we look at the Fire Nation. This will be the penultimate ending of our Avatar in the Real World series, with our next and last video looking at the 100-Year War. The people of the Fire Nation had desire and will. They had the energy and drive to get what they want. Similar to the Water Tribe, the Fire Nation were also people that had ideals of change. But while the Water Tribe were looked at it from change from the ground up and had it integrated, the Fire Nation saw change as being from the top bottom. In retrospect, the Fire Nation was able to set these big goals as their society was not only advanced but was stable when you compare it to the other nations. The Fire Nation had a robust government. They had an industrialized economy that was able to not only provide for itself, but in terms of trading could provide goods and services to the other nations. The Fire Nation was also a more educational driven nation. If the Air Nomads were the liberal arts of the Avatar world, the Fire Nation was the STEM of the world. Seeing how they were able to create ironclad ships 100 years before the 100-Year War even started, and were able to calculate the precision of Sozin's Comet, at the time of the 100-Year War called the Great Comet, the Fire Nation definitely was a more educationally driven nation. As well as the only other school that we have is Ba Sing Se University, which is ironically BU. But we don't know exactly how what the quality of their education was. With the Dai Li controlling everything, we don't know how much information the students were getting. While at the same time, the Fire Nation's education system was kind of rigged when it came to its history, as they did believe that the Air Nomads was called the Air Nation and had an army. But aside from that, the Fire Nation was the closest thing that we had to, fitting into modern-day Western society. Having not only a robust but stable society, but also a less spiritual society. While the Fire Nation did have the Fire Sages, they were not conveying the spirituality of the Fire Nation on a wider scale. In most cases, the Fire Nation regarded spirits as either something to be respected, but for the larger case, it was something that many Fire Nation citizens tended to ignore as either folklore or just superstition. But let's go into the weaknesses of the Fire Nation's mindsets. The first is they let their ambitions get the best of them. When push comes to shove, when you look at Fire Lord Sozin's ideals, he had great ambitions, but he executed them wrong. As if he wanted to extend the Fire Nation's social progress to the rest of the nation, he would have just opened up more trade ties, maybe established more educational centers and exchanging various ideas from the different nations to the Fire Nation, along with opening up the Fire Nation to the world, rather in a more political and social way rather than from a militaristic way. In which case, one thing that the Avatar Wikipedia always states, if you look at the establishment of the United Republic of Nations, essentially that is Fire Lord Sozin's dream coming true, but in the more pacifist, in the more right way. In which case, with Fire Lord Sozin, Fire Lord Ozai, and many of the highly ambitious and evil Fire Nation members is that when you cut moral corners of your ambitions, you end up burning a lot more bridges just to get to success. In which case, you might end up hurting people you care about, random strangers, destroying either environments, disrespecting nature as a whole, just so that you can get on top. It's not really a victory if you lose your morals in the background. Another key weakness of the Fire Nation is anger. As we learned from the episode Sun Warriors, the art of firebending came from that of dragons, and as we learned from that episode, firebending, just like fire, is not a destructive element. Fire can provide light, warmth, but also can be rather beautiful when you not only view it from afar or up close, but when you understand its powers and capabilities. If you use fire in anger just like you use any sort of weapon in anger, you obviously can cause a lot of destruction upon not only others but upon you. as acting out of anger does not give you power. It only makes you appear weak and incontrollable of your own emotions to an outside audience. So if you identify as a member of the Fire Nation, remember when it comes to your goals, think not only rationally but also remember your moral compass. Have a moral compass in order to make sure that you don't do anything destructive with the pursuit of your dreams, and also have patience. Trying to permit change from the top is a rather difficult and arduous task. You need to realize that every element that goes from the top up, or from the bottom up, or from the top bottom has to be taken with consideration, and also be aware of others. As Iroh often try to tell Zuko, going in alone does not grant you your honor or does not make you a better person. When you have others around you, that is what makes you whole. And that concludes all of the looks of the Avatar cultures and where you would actually fit into them. In our 100-Year War video, we'll look at the military capabilities of each nation to see how they fit into that conflict and what made the conflict the 100-Year War as long and as violent as it was. Was it all part of the Fire Nation's plot to take control of the world, or was it due to Earth Kingdom ingenuity or waterbending ingenuity? And we'll also have a snippet about what would the Air Nomads have added to the war effort if they had survived. I hope you enjoyed these videos and found them very interesting. I can't wait to see what you guys think about where you would fit into the 4 nations, and we will see you in the future.